Sea of Thieves' core component, or even any pirate media's core component, is the voyage. It's a means of getting pirates to go out and do something. Sea of Thieves started off with some basic quests to get you out in the world, but in the last 5 years, the voyages have evolved from simply buried treasure to raid-style voyages. Join me as we journey through how much the main voyages have evolved in Sea of Thieves over the last 5 years. Sea of Thieves launched on the 20th of March 2018 with the core voyages discussed in promotional videos in the run-up to release. The main example of this was becoming a Pirate Legend progression in Sea of Thieves. This video explained the progression of the prestigious rank of Pirate Legend, and more importantly, how the quest system was a big part of that. The launch version of Sea of Thieves contained only 4 trading companies, where only 3 of which are available to a fresh player. In order to reach Pirate Legend, you had to reach max reputation with all 3 factions. This used to be level 50. The 3 trading companies were the Gold Hoarders, the Order of Souls, and the Merchant Alliance. Each would offer unique fetch quests with slightly different challenges to them. Let's start with the Gold Hoarders. The Gold Hoarders quests were the most stereotypical. They sell you a voyage that can have 2 puzzles involved, but you would always have to dig up the chest. It's classic pirate stuff. One version of these maps was the Riddle map. The Riddle map will direct you to an island and provide 3 to 4 clues on the location of a single treasure chest. The map can be advanced by actions like playing music or raising your lantern. The first clue appears as soon as you make landfall on the chosen island. At the end, you'll be given a landmark or point of interest and compass directions to the location of a chest. Simply count your steps with a compass and the chest is yours. The other is another pirate cliche. The X marks the spot map. The map given to you is one of the islands. Unnamed, so you have to work out where it is by matching it with the ship's map. Simply navigate using the map and dig when you think you're in the right place. It's that simple. Often a group of weak skeletons will spawn when first hitting the chest with a shovel. Simply dispatch them and continue digging. The beauty of Sea of Thieves gameplay is in this last step. The chest is a physical item which isn't opened. You have to take it back to the Gold Hoarders to get your payout. That means it's open to be stolen by any other player or lost should you sink through other means. The theme continues throughout the various voyages over the last 5 years, so just keep that in mind. The second launch voyage is given out by the Order of Souls. This time, players are sent on a hunt for skeletons. You're given a bounty map with the last seen location for the target. Find the location on the ship's map and sail there. If it's a large island, you probably have to locate where the skeleton crew is. This is done through exploring the island and listening out for audio cues. These can be skeletons growling or ominous music. All you have to do is defeat waves of skeletons until captains spawn. These are stronger skeletons with more health. Another key difference is that the skeletons on those voyages can have special abilities. For example, gold skeletons are slow but have a lot more health. They can be slowed if wet and take more damage, and they're very resistant to cutlass swings. On the other hand, they're pretty weak to firearms. Plant skeletons heal in water, including rain, but are weak to the cutlass. You can encounter these skeletons outside of voyages, but they only appeared at world events at this point. They drop skulls when defeated and work very much like chests before. Take them back to the Order of Souls to get a payout, and of course, they can be stolen as well. The Merchant Alliance has the least popular and the most tedious launch voyage, but I would argue it's the most interesting. The merchants would give you a shopping list of things that their client needs you to source. This was 4 possible items. These could be gunpowder barrels or one of 3 animals, and those 3 animals can come in 4 different colours. The merchants provide the cages at least, all you have to do is ask. Each animal is worth more depending on the colour, with golden being worth a lot of gold. The voyage required a bit of exploring and map knowledge. You could either sail to random islands hoping it had the animal you needed, as only 1 to 2 types of animals will spawn on any given island. Or if you know what spawns where, or use a guide, you can just sail straight there. Snakes will spit venom, so playing music will calm them down. Because of this, you need to think about where these were placed around your ship. They spit venom at other animals too, so best keep them away from the chickens and pigs. Chickens are docile and just need catching. Other than being a bit loud, they'll behave when caught. Pigs, at launch, were the most annoying by far. Pigs need to be fed when in the cages, using up your precious food supply. They're really bloody loud when they get hungry, and you ended up using most of your healing items just to keep them alive. So you can see why this voyage was very unpopular at the time. So earlier in the video, remember when I said this was the way to get Pirate Legend? Well, that's not exactly true. There were the world events, or just one at this point, and they were much more efficient than these quests, but you did have to win a server-wide battle for them. I have a video here explaining why they're so good, and we'll have a dedicated evolution episode in the future. Pirate Legends had their own exclusive voyage. As of launch, this was a mix of all 3 factions with harder enemies spawning, both randomly and as per your Order of Souls bounties. Then once completed, you would get a map showing the location of the Chest of Legends. The chest was a unique piece of loot which allowed you to progress your Athena's Fortune reputation, and at this point, this was the only way to get them. The voyage took hours and has evolved over the years thankfully, but still remains a fairly inefficient way of grinding out Athena's Fortune. Forsaken Shores not only added a new region, but added new variants of the existing quests with a brand new merchant quest as well. The Devil's Roar added new hazards, so it needed to increase rewards to attract players. This created Ashen Loot, which applied to the new faction items. They function the same, they're just worth around 50% more gold. The Gold Hoarders and Order of Souls voyages remain the same, but the Ashen voyages will only take you around the Devil's Roar. And the quest processes are exactly the same. Gold Hoarders were more difficult because of the environmental hazards, but Order of Souls was much easier, believe it or not. The geysers that shot out of the floor could one-shot even the strongest skellies, resulting in some lightning fast kills. The merchants received a much needed addition to bolster their voyages. This was in the form of cargo runs. The concept is simple. Take cargo from NPC A and deliver it to NPC B. The cargo is precious and can be destroyed. Like the animals, each has different needs. Bottles can be destroyed if damaged too much and can be damaged by anything a player can. Plants need to be watered down or they will wilt and die. Cloth needs to stay dry so no seawater or rain can touch it. The items have progressive conditions as well. With the more damaged it is, the less gold and reputation received when you do turn it in. The Devil's Roar variant was pretty much recolours of the same items, but always started in the Devil's Roar. However, Athena voyages were much easier, or at least shorter anyway, as you can now undertake them in just the Roar. The original one can take place across all 3 of the original regions, covering a much larger area. The old voyage did have the animal quests swapped out with the new cargo quests. At the end of the voyage, you got an Ashen Athena chest too, which meant more reputation and gold for a shorter amount of time. That is, if you're willing to adventure in the Roar, and back at launch, it was very tedious. Rare did add mercenary voyages throughout 2019, but I have a video covering the main ones here. We will talk about the main company voyages in 2020 to 2022 though. Heart of Fire was a monthly update and released in March 2020. With the tall tale of the same name as a main feature. However, it also launched with a new Pirate Legend Voyage, the Thieves Haven run. This was a multi-stage voyage with a focus on Thieves Haven, hence the name. The idea is that you travel to and from the island with various steps around the surrounding islands included. The voyage progress goes like this. You start off with 1 X marks the spot map with 3 X's at Thieves Haven. These can award mermaid gems or the new Athena loot items. Chapter 2 is 1 riddle map with 3 riddles on either Devil's Ridge, Crook's Hollow or Snake Island. When solved, the riddle map uncovers a collector's chest with gold and 3 random treasures. When dug up, the players will always face off against skeletons with a guaranteed green Shadow of Fate skeleton. These are skeletons featured in the Fort of the Damned. Chapter 3 and 4 repeat as before, but there are more dig spots on the former and a red skeleton of fate can spawn too. The final chapter is 1 X marks the spot map, this time with 9 X's on Thieves Haven. The treasure pool remains the same as the previous chapters. This time though, one of the X's will spawn a gunpowder skeleton with a keg of ancient black powder in hand. This was a new Athena loot item. Each dig spot can also spawn a chest of legends. The design behind this voyage was to get players in a concentrated area, battling over several items that were really rare at the time. It also became the de facto way to grind Athena's fortune. Oh, and Rare made it so you only had 1 per month, so this was a really high value quest. Haunted Shores dropped in June 2020 and delivered the meme-worthy Captain Flameheart world event, which has since been removed. But Rare took elements of the world event and made a voyage for the Order of Souls. The premise of the Haunted Island voyages featured ghost ships patrolling an island, and can spawn at almost any large island. Your objective is to head to that island, dispel the ghost ships, and collect loot from the captain's ship. This was the first voyage that is completely naval focused, and you never have to leave your ship once you set sail. The ghost ships come in waves, with 2 boss ships once you've destroyed enough. The boss ships drop phantom skulls, and the regular ones can drop supplies as well. It's a really simple voyage which acted as a scaled down version of the Flameheart world event. I can remember this being really popular when it came out. Coming in September 2020 with possibly the best of the bunch is the new Gold Hoarder quest, the Wayfinder voyage. The Gold Hoarders task you with finding a key, but they only have 1 enchanted compass which will lead you to a torn up map. Follow the compass to find the map fragments where you eventually see the X on the map. Once again, you have to work out which island it's at. And if the first fragment has the X, it can get pretty confusing to realise which island you need to go to. Once you dig up anything at any spot, Gold Hoarder skeletons will attack you, but they do drop trinkets when defeated. Here's the cool part. The key can open one of the vaults on the map, the same puzzle vaults used for the Tall Tales. You can play it safe and return the key for a decent payout, Or do you risk opening the vault and getting attacked when down there? Keep in mind, these vaults are filled to the brim with treasure, and a new chest needed to complete commendations. The vaults had a timer, essentially replicating a mad dash to get as much loot as you can and solve the puzzle for the chest of ancient tribute. The right answer is always go for the vault, so you get a massive payout. The final scramble is amazing even after 2 years, and I love this voyage to pieces. Seasons turned over a new leaf for Sea of Thieves and first launched in January 2021. Season 1's key feature was the Merchant Alliance quest, the Lost Shipment Voyage. The context with this one is that a merchant ship has been lost at sea and you have to retrieve the ship's manifest. You're given parchment with the ship's route on it and it's up to you to track it down. This one is another amazing voyage. Sailing on the route will allow you to find barrels marked by birds. In these barrels, merchant loot is found along with your next clue. The variety of clues here is what keeps this voyage fresh. The directions can tell you to head to a nearby island, or a spot on the map, or even ask an NPC if they saw the ship. Each stage of the quest is usually accompanied by loot, with a small chance to spawn the key to the captain's cabin. Once you have all the clues, you can search the wreck. A large swarm of birds and flat water will be the telltale signs. Diving below the wreck, you'll find the manifest and that completes the voyage. If you do find the captain's key, you can sell it or do the sensible thing and open the cabin. Inside will be a load of merchant items. I find it's very reminiscent of the Wayfinder voyages. Lost Shipments could easily be the best voyage on this list, although it could be a bit buggy at launch with keys not appearing and wrecks despawning, but was a great addition nonetheless. Now, Season 6 dropped in March 2022 and contains the undisputed greatest voyage of all time, Legend of the Veil. Although this came a bit later in the season, Legend of the Veil combines world events, tall tales and regular voyages to create this masterpiece. These voyages are only for Pirate Legends, but improve on the previous iterations immensely. The context here is that Athena's fortune and the Reaper's bones are vying for an ancient artifact. This is called the Veil of the Ancients. This allows the user to open doorways to the Sea of the Damned, but stones need to be collected first and 3 are needed to complete the voyage. The mask won't work without the stones. The Legend of the Veil is based around modules. There are 3 possible modules for stage 1 and 2, with a unique module always for stage 3. The modules are Haunted Islands, Shipwreck Graveyards and Suds maps. Haunted Islands task you with going to a large island, speaking to Belle, and then lighting beacons with a flame. Once all of them are done, there's a PvE encounter against phantoms with your own AI allies. Once all of them and the Soul Flame Captain are defeated, the module is complete, awarding players with a Veilstone. Shipwreck Graveyards are shipwrecks in a specific area of the map, with 6 appearing in the location. Simply explore the wrecks to find a key to the captain's cabin for the main one, and you'll find the Veilstone in there. Suds maps are a spin on Gold Hoarder maps as discussed before. You can have zoom maps, these are just X marks the spot maps which are zoomed in. It makes the digging a bit easier, but it can be hard to discern which island you're at. Lying maps show a selection of ancient paintings at an island, and you have to find out which one doesn't match. Picture maps will always show landmarks of different islands, with a mark on the picture showing you where the chest is. Once you find the chest, the Veilstone is inside. And once you've completed any 2 of these, it's on to the final stretch, the Haunted Forts. Near the edge of the map, a group of 3 smaller emplacements and a large fort will appear, with a giant swirling tornado above it. It's your objective to destroy the 3 smaller forts, which removes the tornado protecting the main one. Ghost ships will offer support and Spanish phantoms man the walls. The main fort has several breakable defences. Once all of them are destroyed, the loot will spawn and the final Veilstone with it. All throughout these modules, you'll have NPCs speaking to you as well and telling you a bit more context about the story. And that essentially wraps up Legend of the Veil. The variety of modules you can receive makes this quest really replayable. There are so many cinematic flares not found in other voyages, such as the final stage, the Shipwreck Graveyard, and the NPCs. All of this makes Legend of the Veil the best voyage so far, and after over 50 of them, I will always say yes to another one. Season 7 did have captain voyages, but these are mainly easier ways to access the voyages already covered, and some old mercenary voyages. With 2023 just starting, we're bound to get a new voyage this year, likely in the same vein of Legend of the Veil. And that just about covers how the main voyages have evolved in Sea of Thieves. What's your favourite voyage in Sea of Thieves, and what do you want to see next? Let me know down in the comments. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, drop a like, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.